Excellent article and analysis here on the Hood Communist website. Highly recommend you check out the work on this website as well. By Ann Joan Holland, Joe Biden is a white supremacist. You read that correctly. Joe Biden is a white supremacist and much more effective at it, like most Democrats are. We could look at Joe's 49-year political career or just start with the presidential primaries. Either way, Joe's the same white supremacist he's always been, but he's not Trump, and he's a Democrat, so he doesn't receive the vitriol he most certainly deserves. 100% correct. Thought we're supposed to hold him accountable when he got in office. Let's be clear that Joe Biden is in fact Donald Trump. No, he's worse. If you like racism nicely packaged, just say that, but stop lying about Joe's role in white supremacy because he's a Democrat. Because I'd be here all day. I'll start with the presidential primaries, which Joe is losing, and some calls were made. Liberals, strap yourselves in. Hold on to your seats. Do whatever it is you need to do to come to terms with the truth about the Diet Republican Party. I mean, that is on point. Diet Republican Party. That is the Democrats in a nutshell, completely. Hello to my fellow comrades. Hello. Joe Biden was not favored during the primaries. Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren were the first and second choices, respectively. Joe ranked either fourth or fifth in the field of candidates. Sanders and Warren were winning because they appealed to young voters, because they actually, had platforms that would improve the material conditions in people's lives, raising the minimum wage, student debt cancellation, legalizing weed. Biden didn't have much support, not even from black liberals, forever loyal to President Obama. One would ask why Obama didn't jump at the opportunity to endorse his former VP of 8 years. The response was, don't underestimate Joe's ability to fuck things up. How much more could Biden fuck things up than Obama did? Obama expanded AFRICOM, that furthered settler colonialism and neocolonialism in Africa, bombed Somalia and Libya, in addition to 5 other countries, deported 3 million people, backed a right-wing coup in Honduras, suppressed minimum wage in Haiti along with Hillary Clinton, going from 21 cents an hour to 63 cents an hour. Asked for a cup of water if you haven't seen that footage, it's fucking cringeworthy and disgusting. Look it up. At a Flint conference addressing water crisis, and signed a blue alert law to protect the police amongst many other problematic issues. Yes. Bailing out Wall Street, prosecuting whistleblowers, etc., as I say, among a very long list. Biden has been no different. It's obviously more now. I think it's past 100. No different in his 46 days as the 46th president of the U.S. So far, he reopened and expanded Trump's kids in cages, concentration camps, call them what they are, that were started during the Bush admin and opened under Obama. But he calls it's a migrant facility for children now, and corporate media obviously is parodying that line as well because it's not Trump anymore. It's not the kids in cages. It's migrant overflow facilities. It's all good. It's all good. He deported over 22,000 people into countries they're not from. He's on his way to deporting 100,000 people more than Trump in his first year presidency. Bombed Somalia and Libya. I would say just it doesn't matter if it's legal or not. It's still a disgusting crime against humanity, bombing Syria, because the Saudi prince killed one person and decided not to penalize the prince over relations breach. Backed unpopular presidents in Haiti and Venezuela. The puppet in Venezuela, Juan Guaido. Approved $285 million for Raytheon. Approved $750 in grants to police in the George Floyd Act to investigate themselves. Yeah, that's right. Joe Biden's solution to police brutality and violence, particularly against communities of color, give them more money. Let them investigate themselves. I mean, on that issue, frankly, Bernie Sanders is just as fucking shitty. Obviously, the only solution, defund the police and abolish them. Actually invest in programs of community uplift, things that actually keep people safe. Doesn't support Medicare for all. Although his son didn't have health care, squashed his promise of $15 minimum wage, lies about $2,000 checks for voters winning the Georgia Senate, lied about canceling $50,000 and $10,000 student loan debt, and is giving Americans less stimulus checks than Trump. Obama and Biden are a match made in heaven for maintaining the status quo of the U.S. empire and a match made in hell for the destabilization of the global South. Voters started to lose hope in Sanders' ability to push through the primaries because of his health. I would also argue because of the really feckless campaign that Sanders and his, campaign people ran, with not going after Joe Biden at all, not really holding his feet to the fire, not calling him out on his bullshit. And Bernie would always go out there and say, if asked, yeah, I think Biden could defeat Donald Trump. No, you say I'm the only one who could defeat. Again, Bernie, just a sheepdog for the Democratic Party. He's a Democrat. He's not a fucking socialist. I wish he was, obviously. Warren was next in line, but she was not as progressive as him. That's true. According to an unnamed friend, Obama had 4-long conversation with Sanders and convinced him to drop out and endorse Biden, and didn't get any fucking policy concessions when he did that. Again, Bernie, loyal fucking sheepdog for the Democratic Party. Biden was still unfavorable amongst young voters and black voters even after front-runner status in the primaries. We're still reminded his austerity and fascist and imperialist policies. Senator Delaware, also known as the senator, also used to be referred as the senator from MBNA, for always being ready and willing to do the bidding of the credit card industry, and his hand in the 94 crime bill. During his campaign, Biden began pandering to black voters and had nothing sufficient to say about what he'd do for black Americans. The bottom line was, quote, "You're not black if you don't vote for him." Black voters are right to criticize Biden and ask what they'd get in return for their vote. But once he picked the first black woman VP, they were told to shut the fuck up by the black petty bourgeoisie. Literally, Ava DuVernay penned an open letter on Instagram with the comments off, of course, that said a bunch of nonsense about what Biden didn't do. Now he's not Trump, and that she didn't care what Kamala Harris' past was. Again, she used to be California's top fucking cop, and California prison system was so overcrowded they were ordered by the federal government to release people. She fought back against that. She wanted to jail parents of truant children. And the list goes on. The end goal was to get them in office and hold them accountable. We see how that's been going. No fucking accountability. And yet we have people like AOC, Pramila Jayapal saying, oh, my expectations have been exceeded. The Biden administration so far has been so progressive. They got all of these things done. It's just fucking wonderful. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Jesus Christ. Every time people try to hold Biden and the Democrats accountable, they're told he's not Trump. But again, as this article points out, substantively, what is he doing that's any different than Trump? Especially with regards to U.S. imperialism and empire. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Has it been 100 days? Excuses are being made for Democrats that liberals would have a meltdown, or Republicans doing. Yes, kids in cages, rightfully fucking so. But now there's a Democrat in office. It's migrant overflow facilities. It's all good. They're getting copies of Kamala Harris's book, supposedly. Liberals don't think twice about the process Republicans go through when they pass fascist policies, but Democrats need time, or progressives, Dems, have to be voted in. Voters tossed the ball in Democrats' court to secure a majority in Congress. They didn't even bother to catch it during the legislation. They purposely didn't bring witnesses up during the decision to send Trump to trial. Some of them voted against the moderate legislation that they advocated for. R.E. Cinema. I mean, she is fucking disgusting. She did that little fucking dance when she voted no against the $15 minimum. No. 8 Democrats voted against the $15 minimum wage, so we have to worry about Republicans and moderate Democrats. Just like the Dems didn't bother to catch the ball during Obama's admin and purposely lost in the midterms, the same thing's going to happen in 2022. And what point do people be real with themselves and realize that politicians serve the ruling class and their only job is to maintain the status quo of the U.S. empire? I mean, that fits AOC, all members of the squad, everybody in fucking Congress. As far as I'm concerned, there's not actually anybody in there who's actually standing up for the interest of the working class, of the vulnerable, marginalized, oppressed in the United States and abroad. Because again, the U.S. empire is the most destructive fucking force on the face of the planet right now, and has been for quite some time, frankly. The fact that a country that runs on being democratic, there's never been a fucking democracy in the U.S., has their democracy up for grabs every 2 and 4 years is absurd. The fact that black people are the ones saving the democracy but don't have material conditions to show for it is absurd. And the fact that people even have to vote to be given livability, I mean, that is really fucking sick. Yes, let's read that once more because that's worth highlighting. And the fact that people even have to vote to be given livability and survivability is sick behavior. I mean, yes. Liberals need to stop the red state versus blue state bullcrap. Both color states are committing fascism against Americans. Perfect examples are Andrew Cuomo lying about COVID nursing home deaths and covering it up, and Lori Lightfoot, again, she's the mayor of Chicago, really horrible, pushing to fully reopen Chicago schools and threatening, to fire teachers if they don't show up to work. Cuomo wrote a book about how he had COVID under control while the numbers are skyrocketing, and he was lying about the numbers. Yes, and then this fact about Lightfoot is really fucking disgusting. Lightfoot gave majority of the COVID relief money to the police. But red states, right? They're so loud about their fascism, and liberals need their fascism to be nicely packaged. People don't deserve to die regardless of what color the state is. But scratch a liberal and a fascist bleeds. Shout out to whoever made that. That's funny. Women, abolitionist plus communist. Awesome. Communism, man. It's what we need. Hood communist. Highly recommend checking out this website. I'll link this down below. Joe Biden's white supremacist. I think you'd be frankly a little ridiculous to argue otherwise. Like the video if you like the damn video. Subscribe for more content. Peace. Much love. All part of the people. Super Carl.